recording. So welcome folks. This is our AI tools in job search, in your job search. And it probably won't take us 2 hours, but you know, if you want to ask questions at work and try things out, takes a while. So why are we doing this? It used to be that when you do a job search, you'd look in the paper, or you'd go to what they call a job shop, and you'd start looking around. Job shops are places that hire you and contract you out, and so they might charge 30 an hour and you get 20 an hour of it. But they did all the work to find the job, and they're usually temporary. They're pretty good if you want to be looking for good work where you can try people out and they can try you out. Job shops are really good contract work in the design field, and there's plenty of it. Usually in that case, if the company says, we want to offer you, full-time permanent, there's a contract that they've signed with the job shop that says after 6 months you can do that, and you owe us $2,000 finding fees, something like that. If it's a year, you can do that and you owe us $1,000 finding fee, right? So job shops are really good. Or you can go on to Indeed.com or whatever. But it used to be that you just shop your resume around and people would read resumes. Now, not so much. We got the online tools, Indeed.com, Monster, LinkedIn, all these things. And you're filling out your application that lists everything that you know how to do, okay? And then they use an AI to try to pair you up and, send you things to apply for. Well, there's two things about that. One, an AI is reading what you input, so you need to input it like an AI is going to want to know and be able to understand. The second part is that nobody's going to look at your resume until the AI passes you on. And then it's like they're almost not even going to look at your resume. You're on there, they're going to put you on the thing and you'll turn in your resume. But I want to go over that a little bit too today on how you can do that, okay? So we need, since you're gonna almost for sure, unless you've gotten in, somebody said, oh, call so-and-so and put in an application and they're looking for you, right? Unless that happens, there's gonna be a large language model reading what you've got, comparing it to the job, and passing you on or not. We used to call them the HR wonk, and now it's the AI bot. So if you're gonna get past the AI bot, I think you need an AI tool. And so this is my version of how to do it. Now, why would you listen to me instead of kind of the buffoon people over at Career Center? Like I'm telling you, they don't know how to write a resume to save their life. Okay? And here's why I think that is. They've never interviewed anybody to hire them. When you go, and I've interviewed hundreds of people. We just got through interviews for our new professor. And I'm telling you, what an interviewer wants to see is not what they're asking you to do. Okay? Interviewers, and we know this also from our advisory committee meetings. You can have all these skills, and they go, yeah, you know what? We can teach anybody what they need to know if they're a hard worker and they can listen and get jobs done on time and take critical feedback. Those are the people we need to hire, right? And it's like, you'll get good at it real quick if you're working hard. They need hard workers. Okay, now, I'll tell you this too, industry is a little bit behind the times. They don't get or care that people have families and lives and this and that. It's like, oh, they're they're not a hard worker. What do you mean they're? Yes, they are. It's just not always for you, right? But you need to make them think that at least at the start, right? So I'm framing this for you so that you can see why I'm telling you what we're going over. And one of the questions we ask always when we interview people coming to work here, how do your existing commitments fit with what we're asking you to do? Now, we're doing that because we want to work with people, right? Other places will do that because they want you to drop all your commitments and only work for them, 24/7, blah, blah, blah. And that may not be what you want. That's sort of where we want to go. Okay, we want to make sure that you're aware. So I get it. I've interviewed a lot of people. I know what interviewers want to see and what hiring managers want to see. And so we're going to focus kind of on that and putting your message across clear, concise, focused. And if you're taking notes, write those 3 things down. Clear, concise, focused. Okay? And after that, it's, okay, what do I need to be clear, concise, focused about? It makes sense of where we're going? So that's why we're using AI and all that kind of stuff. Because that's what those large language models do. They take a massive information and they make it clear, concise, and focused. Okay? It's not always easy because as we saw when we were doing the student learning outcomes, it doesn't always understand what we say. So we may have to kind of tweak it a little bit. Any questions on that? Does that sound like what you're here for? I hope.
So clear, concise, and focused.
Focus. That's what your application has to be and your resume. Okay, so you have to prepare for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what does the process look like. Okay, and I'm just going to do a real quick slideshow. I'll share this with you, but there's nothing special about this, right? It's like, duh. So for AI, it's not really an AI. Large language models are not AI for what computer science people say is AI. But it's what everybody in the media and the public, right? ChatGPT and AI, no, it's a large language model, right? That's its real name. So we're going to use a large language model for resume and application development. Here's how simple it is. Download 15 to 20 job applications. I said simple, not easy, right? That's not easy, but it's simple. 15 to 20 job applications. Paste the skill requirements into a document. Open a Google Doc and just paste them in there right as they're in there. Okay? And then paste the skill section of your resume into the Google Doc. And then compare them using a large language model. And I guess I should make that a capital. So just with that, some of you could probably do everything because we've been practicing, right? We've been doing this now for a year where I ask you to input or research or find a bunch of stuff and then compare, summarize, score, grade, however you want to write it. Compare the job description requirements to your resume. Okay? So now let's take a look. This part is maybe hard. 15 to 20 job descriptions. How are you going to do that? Well, you can do 2 or 3 where you use AutoCAD as the keyword. 2 or 3 of those. 2 or 3. Now, Alejandro, he's not doing this. He's already decided this isn't his bag. But Alejandro, you'll have to figure out your own keywords, right? There's going to be 3ds Max and Blender and all those software things you tell me about, right? So his keyword software will not be the same, although some of them, right? I'm sure probably Revit, SketchUp will probably be in there. You can put any of these things in that you know. But also look around. So like Professor Al-Gaburi suggests you look for things with Lumion. I've done that. I've found 3. But when I put in Revit, I get 150. So, you know, some people say, oh, do SolidWorks. There's a ton of SolidWorks. There's more SolidWorks than Inventor. So if you take, and it's just as you're looking, right? Mm-hmm. If you take a 1-week tutorial on LinkedIn Learning, all of a sudden you can put down SolidWorks because the Inventor you know prepares you in SolidWorks. Okay, we do that on purpose.
There is no difference between SolidWorks and
you're right. The only difference is the interface looks a little different and the terminology looks a little different. Yeah, right? But to really be honest with somebody, to say that you can do it at a certain level, you want to take a 1-week tutorial. You can even look up, how do I transfer my Inventor skills to SolidWorks? And you'll get probably 10 YouTubes to watch. Okay? So these are, but get 2 or 3 AutoCAD, 2 or 3 that say Revit, 2 or 3 that say SketchUp, 2 or 3 that say Inventor, or if you're interested in that type of stuff, SolidWorks, Navisworks, Bluebeam. There's a couple more in here. I'm going to take this off now and I'm going to make one more copy of this. And I'm going to title it Industry. What are the industries we talk about? Architecture, BIM, construction, MEP, civil, mechanical. Those are so, and I'll tell you, some of you could even do landscape, you know, or even interior design. So you can put in the ones that you're interested in. Under job type, I'm going to give you a copy of this too. You might put entry level.
So the whole presentation, you're going to give us a copy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you the sharing link for this presentation and the video.
Video is recording right now?
It's recording right now. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. So you can see, I mean, just, you only need 1 or 2 out of each of these, and all of a sudden you have this humongous thing. However, try not to duplicate. Try to remember who you're grabbing, because a lot of AutoCAD ones, the same ones will come up with Revit, and the same ones will come up when you do Designer and Drafter. So just start punching all these in and try to get discrete different ones until you have 10 or 15 of them. Okay, so that's it. So here's one that I did. I didn't even get 10 of them. I think I got 5 or 6. I just looked up AutoCAD Revit Drafter. And these are the things that you'll do. Then I typed in AutoCAD Designer. And I got all these things. CAD Drafter. I found these. MEP Drafter. I found these. Then I think I stopped writing them down. Okay, so I have these ones in here. And I'm going to go through and show you the process. And then we're going to take 20 or 30 minutes for you guys to go online and try to find these. And then I took some skills from a resume. Okay, and I put a whole bunch of stuff in there. Okay, so I just put a bunch of stuff in. It's a resume. Now, do not ever put your name on this because your large language model owns all inputs and outputs. So leave your name off and any identifying information. Okay, just put the information. Okay, so here I've done this step, download 15 or 20. I've done this step, paste the skills. Then I paste the skills from a resume, and now I'm going to compare them using a large language model. And I'll do a new comparison. I've done that already. Here it is right here. Okay, I'll see if it comes out the same, but I've done it already. So here's a new chat. I'm going to put them side by side so I can see them and watch. On the prompt, here is a lot of information from various job descriptions that interest me. And I'm just gonna and here is information from a sample resume. Summarize the skills and requirements needed for this type of work and rank my preparation for each of the summarized areas, ranking from 1 to 5. Okay, so I've just asked it to do what I'd like it to do. I gave it a bunch of information, and then I've asked it to do something. Software skills, technical skills, other skills, overall preparation. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. So, you know, others, ability to work independently, problem solving, time management. Okay, and then it says what you might do a little bit better. I'm going to do it a little bit differently now, so you can play with this as you wish. Here's some information on job requirements. summarize, and actually I'm going to say categorize in order of importance based on the job description. So, there's no one right way to input this, but start figuring out some of these things. Essential skills: proficiency in AutoCAD, ability to read and understand technical drawings, excellent attention to details, Okay, this I think is a little bit more useful to me. Very important skills: knowledge of software, design principles, other CAD softwares, important. Microsoft, you better be mentioning that. We use mostly Google. Shouldn't take you long to be able to say, I can use Microsoft, right? But that's more like Teams and Outlook and Word, PowerPoint. The Dropbox, I think, is Microsoft. SharePoint. SharePoint is their Google Drive. Okay, this gives me something to look at. Or say, I'm very familiar with workplace suites such as right? Oh, okay, here's a little bit of CAM programming, and then least importance, calculus, algebra. So guess what? We don't do a lot of that. Okay, say here is a sample resume. Please rate how well each category is addressed in the resume. So there is no one way to do this, is what I'm talking. And your best bet is to ask often a bunch of different questions, different ways to really nail it. Strong skills, attention to detail, communication, management skills, maybe design development, team building. Consider elaborating on communication skills used in the drafting environment. Provide specific examples of This is why when you just list all the skills you've got and list your jobs, you get left in the dust. You're missing a couple of areas. Okay? So now I'm going to just tell you about your resume very briefly, and then we'll get into just kind of like working around with it. Okay? And the resume, let me actually, I think I need to make a new one. Does all that make sense so far? And most resumes are, where's my print setup? There it is. I'm just going to make it 8.5 by 11. And you can do all sorts of cool things to put on it. and that's good, but you can do those later on if you want. Okay. The title is where your name would go and stuff like that. And try to make it not take up too much room. Because, you know, you'll get that. They'll get it. Okay, name and contact here. If you want to, here's where you can put link or code to your portfolio. Okay. Now here's a funny thing. People do want to see an objective up here. Let me tell you about the objective. What do you think the objective ought to be? Somebody tell me. What do you think your objective ought to be?
Find a decent job that suits.
Right, that's your objective. They already know that you're applying for their job. So what are you going to put up here? What's an objective of yours that would also be an objective of theirs? Work for a first class, blah, blah, blah. You go, yeah, everybody wants to do that. And we are that. What are you going to put up here that makes them want to think of you? You want to see if somehow you could match your objective to their mission statement. Okay? Right? What do most, and you probably don't know this because you don't go around reading mission statements, right? And you could do a large language model search just like we're doing to find out. So I'm going to say match their goals. Your objective should match their goals. Well, here's what just about every company has somewhere in their goals. Okay? Provide the right product to the client on time at a good price. Everybody's mission statement somehow boils down to that. Somehow it always boils down to that. Although some of them also say, serve our shareholders. Okay, so here's what I'm going to put down. Serve my company by helping to deliver the right product at the right price at the right time. You pretty much nail everything if you say that. Can you think of any goals, any company that doesn't want to do that? No, it's like, and actually many don't want to do that, but they won't say so. Very rarely do they say, we want to screw the little people to make a lot of money. Nobody says that, even though that's what their company really wants to do. right? They don't say that. They say this. So that's your objective. Serve my company. So if they hire you, it means you're going to serve that company by helping them deliver the right product at the right price at the right time. There we go. So now look how much room I've got for other stuff. I got a whole page almost. Okay, so now I'm going to put education and experience on here because sometimes you have to rely on education, sometimes you can rely on your experience. Okay? Here's what you put in here. Directly applicable information. So if you learned your software or this or that or the other thing as part of your certificate or your degree, you'll list your certificate or your degree. Yes, you should. If you don't have it yet, you put expected. So I'm going to put on here, and this might be yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Even if they don't want it,
It's gonna
like
be your
some
proof.
company, like they mentioned to the AutoCAD, Revit, and SketchUp, and construction skills, and that's it. So
Right. This is
can
your
you mention to
education
the
is where
Navisworks?
you learned and got your experience in AutoCAD, Revit, SketchUp. That's where you got that experience.
So
So
it's
you
possible
put-
like to add then skills with an experience with
That all
Navisworks?
comes up here in this middle section. And I'm going to show that to you in a minute. So I'm going to the, I won't call it fluff, but the part that's not in that large language model learning. This is the part that's not in there. Okay? So you would say, and this doesn't have to be printed big. Okay, education and experience. And this is, you only want to put your directly applicable information goes in here. So I'll make this a little bit bigger now. Okay, so design certificate. Let's say that's what you've got. And you can put a link to the web page that says what's in there. American River College, and I'm going to put expected fall 2024 or December 2024, just as an example. If you've already got it, that's fine. What else? Maybe you've done some work already, an internship, or you had some part-time work or something. So I'm going to say internship, part-time work, something like that, where you doesn't even need to be paid. Okay, you list that. And let's say, so the company does, I said, they want people that know how to work, right? They want people that know how to work. Now, so some of you have a full degree from overseas. You list it. You do list it, okay? Because that's of value. And if you've had the evaluation, say evaluated by Western, whatever that's called, list that no matter what, because somebody's going to go, whoa, what were you doing? Here's the thing, okay? Any work that you've done is useful to show that you know how to work. You just don't have to itemize it. Let's say that you've had constant employment from the time for the last 7 years. okay? You can just say fully employed, part-time employed, whatever it is, constantly from this date to this date, further information upon request. They just know, okay, you know, going to school, doing this, doing that, whatever it is, you've been working. Driving cars, working at a restaurant, cleaning gas stations, volunteering for that's consistent, right? Every, you know, Wednesday, I volunteer at this organization, whatever. Okay, so you can put that down. So I'm going to put in other fields, and I'll put down 2004 present. Okay, that's all you need to put in there. They want more, they'll ask for more. Okay, further information upon request. Okay, now some applications actually want you to put it in. And so obviously on the application, you put it in, right? But it doesn't need to be on your resume. They're not gonna look at all that, just say, no. Now, if it's always been in one field, let's say we had this for a while. We got a ton of people out of the lumber industry between 2004 and 2008. They were closing down lumber mills right and left. And we were getting tons of lumber mill people, right? So if it was all in one industry, you would write lumber mill industry, you know, from here to here, site closed, something like that. You know, this is kind of wide open. I'm going to put references. Okay, now usually, first round, nobody's looking at your references. So don't take up a lot of room on references. It's not until you pass that first round of interviews that they want references. But you can list the names if you want. Randy Schuster, ESGN department chair. Maybe you've got another professor that you want to use, or somebody who you've been working with, or whatever. I'll put person number 2. Upon request. And see how it doesn't have to be very big. That got really small. Let's see. There we go. And if you need to, you know how to reformat this stuff. Text fitting. Undo that. Do not auto fit. Now I can play with it on my own. Size and rotation, left, right, top, 0, bottom, 0. Now everything fits nicely. There. This is even a little bit too big on its own. So that's how you kind of get started with it. Now we get the meat of stuff. Okay? And I like to use a table sometimes, but let's look at this. What am I going to put on there? Software skills. Let's come up to okay, so the way I probably want to do this is these things are all first. Okay, so proficiency in AutoCAD, I can put down here. Look at this. This is what's ability to read and understand technical drawings, attention to detail, communication skills, ability to work independently. See those? That's what you want to show first. It's the essential skills. Okay, so what do you want to call that? I'm going to call that, and I'm going to do this as a table. What do you call those? Called them essential skills. I could ask a good name for those things, but they're really your workplace skills, right? And you can even put more in there. But what am I going to put in there now? Whoops. And then I have to do a little bit of work here, right? That goes away. Goes away. Man, I tell you, somebody sees that right off the bat. Now, you might want to put more in, right? Hard worker. Collaborative. So maybe you'll put a couple more words in here that you just know. Collaboration skills. You know a lot of those. Okay? So that's one set. What's the next set? Okay, these are really design skills, right? These are design skills, design and software skills. So I'm just reading what this is giving me.
Is the template also going to be given to us?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now I got to show you one other thing. Knowledge of. Now, you need to replace specific software with that software. And then you can keep on going. Here, understanding of design principles, that you can sort of leave alone, but you're going to have to have your portfolio to show that, right? Experience with other CAD software, that now goes away. So you can go with this, right? Up here, under collaboration skills, you might say what those are. What do you know how to do? File sharing, file management. Clash detection. What else do you know how to do? Project management. Project management reporting. Those are all collaboration skills that you know. File management and even file sharing or file permissions. I tell you, when people know that you know how to do those, project management and deliverable reporting, use those words to add in here. Those are those workplace skills, and you all know them already. So, and that was the number one thing that they wanted. Software and design skills, and you can, you know, in here you can put design principles, concept modeling, right? Design review, design analysis, where you're seeing if the design matches and meets. You also know things like finite element analysis, FEA. These are all design skills. You know about bills of materials, BOM, work orders, purchase orders. Dang, man. Those are part of design skills. All of a sudden, you're kind of like going, you're nailing this thing, right? Okay, what's after that one? Okay, so problem-solving skills. So this would be more like design. I'm going to put software skills up there, and I'm going to put design skills down here. I don't know why that didn't do that. So there's design and problems, and this is just going to be software skills. So this, you can basically cut this one down. Just list all of those software skills that you know. So design, concept modelings, design review, design analysis, FEA, developments of bills of materials, work orders, purchase orders, any of the stuff that you did in the graphical analysis type BIM. You know how to get import, export of files. cost estimating, prototyping. Those are your design and problem skills.
You had the survey.
Yeah, you can put down, you can put down in here, architectural surveying, so they don't think that you know how to do geodetic, this, that, you know, unless you do. Okay, and then where's your last one? Your last piece is these ones. Okay, and you probably don't have too much in CAM programming, you know, but this would be what do you know? You know how to operate collaboration skills, right? Which you actually have up above. VR, Navisworks, issue tracking. This is where you put things that are kind of cool, right? You know, Google, Workplace. A lot of you know the Microsoft Office suite. Some of you know some animation technology with Vyond and things like that. So you can just kind of pop in some of these other skills that showed up. Building codes. And look, you know, right here, large language model research tools, building code research tools. You guys know a lot. That's pretty hefty right there. Now, for any one particular one, you might take a few off or add some more. But look at how much we were able to put into here. This just needs a title, skills and abilities. So let me and put that into title mode. I don't think it's got one, so. Now you've got a tool that will match just about any of those job descriptions. Okay, and every time you get a job description, you just go back and fiddle it around just a little bit. Does that make sense? The hard part is making sure that you have, remember we did your skills overview? Go back and do that for every single class so that you can go back and categorize them and find these things. Right? Because if they go, oh, show me something or tell me And when they say, tell me, say, well, I prefer to show you. If I can, right? Pull it out and show it if you can. So there's a lot of work, but this nails it. This nails it. And it's sort of in order of importance. Obviously, your name and contact and everything is very important, because if they like you, they got to get a hold of you. Okay? This is actually really important. It's super important, just not the way most people go about doing it. If somebody sees that you're wanting to help the company succeed, that's a good thing. That's what a hiring manager wants to hear. It makes sense? This matches out with what we learned over here. Matches out with all this. Okay, time management skills. We just put that in there. Problem solving skills, we put that in. Oh, ability to work independently as part of a team. So that would actually be a good thing to put here. That's a good one to put in there. And we still fit. If we need to, I think we can make this one smaller. Not sure why that one. Okay. Okay, so there's the overall. And I know that took a while, but that's sort of the essence of it. Does that all make sense? And like why we're doing what we're doing? Cool. And you guys are all really well qualified to all of this. When you look at that, you should be going, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that in every single one of you, that you just about check all of these boxes. Especially, you check these top two. Super strong. And they're the most important ones. So cool. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.